Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe here with another episode of the Strafing Run, and this is of course designed to keep everyone up to date on a fairly regular basis. Kind of laughing there because I haven't done one of these in a while, but there really hasn't been much to speak of, I suppose. But let's of course start by getting to the footage in the background, which, yes, I know everybody's probably WTFing, but it is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I do own it. And as somebody who used to be fairly outspoken against the COD franchise, I have to say that Black Ops 2 is not that bad. It is a step in the right direction, and Treyarch, you know, deserves a round of applause for at least bringing it out of the gutter. And a lot of you might be saying, it's the same thing, it's a carbon copy, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I think that's what people want. Except they just want it to work right. They want to have a nice variety and maybe throw in a couple little new features and tweaks here and there. And that's what people want. I mean, you guys know that I love the Battlefield franchise. I have for many years, as I have been playing it since the very first game, which was Battlefield 1942. And what I wanted out of that game was for it to remain the same. Maintain that same type of gameplay, but add new features. Improve things. Improve the netcode. Improve the game engine. The graphics in general, the texture, you know, those things, of course, you want to get better. The ballistics, you want them refined, because obviously if you look at the ballistics in BF3 compared to 1942 or even Battlefield 2, they're light years better than they used to be. The only downside is their client-side network code is kind of fail at times, but it is what it is, and is still a far superior title. But you can see where Battlefield 3 in some ways has tried to become a different game. Yes, it does cater to a lot of people's interests with different map types and DLCs, but in some ways it did try to become a Call of Duty of sorts because, hey, here's our close quarter map pack for you guys. Now come over to our game and leave that one behind. All right, fine. It's a smart business tactic. Maybe people from all sides are happy, but it does exclude a lot of individuals from playing certain DLCs. For example, I have a friend who hates Armored Kill, but I like it. So what can you do? But anyways, with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, yeah, the gameplay is pretty much the same. Couple of different looking weapons. We're a little bit further in the future with 2025. But why did I buy it? You know, I've always spoken out against this game. What made me want to get it? And honestly, I have to say, it's obviously not the graphics. The game engine's getting old, but it still looks pretty good. They've managed to squeeze a lot of power out of it. 4x TXAA on, you know, full 1080p, running at extremely high frame rate, over 60 frames per second. You got your field of view settings up to 90. I mean, really good, tight-knit controls. It's as polished as I think it can get, especially on the PC. It doesn't look that bad, and I'm pretty darn picky about my graphics, and I can live with it. It actually looks pretty good in some situations. But really, the reason that I picked it up after weeks of thought and asking people, asking the community, talking with Elbrook, who has been, you know, a COD player for some time now, it was just those little things that brought me back to it. It was like the ability to host my own game and invite my friends to it. You know, even though I haven't necessarily convinced many people to, you know, play in a match, but the ability to set all the different things, hardcore mode, the damage value, health starting, respawn time or delay, all these little things, choosing the game modes, setting up the map, you know, having a bot match to practice, having a map that I can jump into with no interruption just so I can mess with my settings. Those were things that PC games used to just come with all the time. Battlefield 2, you could set up a server, private it, and just play around, drive around, fly around, set your settings, and just have fun. Invite your friends, you know, do a battle recording. It's just common knowledge to give gamers these features, and they've been missing for so long. And I guess Call of Duty has had a lot of these features and maintained them, and I actually respect that. I really do. They deserve a round of applause for keeping that stuff and not removing it, you know, thereby forcing gamers to have to buy a dedicated server. Obviously, the last Call of Duty had major issues in regards to not having dedicated servers where the peer-to-peer connectivity was downright terrible. This game, I guess, improves it a bit by having like a master dedicated that the peers connect to, and then that gets hosted through that somehow. I don't know how it works. It's probably too technical for me, but it works, and I have not had any latency issues, and I've played a couple of battles, and that's that. So it's the little things that matter most to me. I actually am enjoying the hardcore mode. I like the lethality of it. The fact that as long as I hit that target, he's going down in a bullet or two, I actually kind of like that. You know, it's just fun to me. And sometimes the maps are a little too small. They're really, really small, and it's a matter of who's running around the corner and sees who first. So that's most of my deaths, as you can see from just some of this footage. There are a couple of rounds where I managed to do okay, swap the teams up the next round, and I just do terribly. And that's pretty much the nature of Call of Duty, I think, especially with random teams. If you don't have any teammates, there's no teamwork involved, whereas Battlefield 3, of course, creates teamwork because of the medic system, the support system, the different classes, and things like that. But on the flip side, sometimes you do get tired of people getting revived by medics or spawning on squads and things like that. So sometimes it's just nice to sit back and have a game that doesn't have those things. I had been enjoying Blacklight Retribution. I still like that game. I think it's a great title, but the HRV system that lets you see through the walls kind of still gets on my nerves, and I'd almost rather it just not have it, or perhaps have some sort of hardcore mode where that's eliminated and it just goes to a traditional shooter. Of course, many people will argue against me for that one. It is there to maintain action, but as you can see from this game, these levels are designed in a way that there's no real major stoppage in action, except there's a couple of times I guess I'm wandering around trying to find people to kill, as you see in hardcore mode. Without the UAV up and running, it's pretty difficult to find people sometimes. But you know, I still generally don't go over a minute without having found somebody to shoot at, or somebody to shoot at me. So in general, is it a perfect game? No. Am I drooling over it? No. It's not my favorite game or anything, but it's just a game to pick up once in a while and just kill things, because really it's very simple. There's no bullet drop. It's pretty much hit scan. It's actually a fairly easy game. I don't think there's much of a learning curve. And again, sometimes it's just about whoever finds who first is going to win. And sometimes you just want that, because in a way, for a shooter, it's relaxing. And that's where my thought process was. That's that. So, I'm not going to take back anything that I've said about the COD franchise. I still think it has some issues. I'm still not a huge fan of a lot of the community behavior, but I could say the same thing for Battlefield 3 at this point. In fact, in some cases, the community is even worse. With COD, it just seems like there's not much chit-chat, and I don't use voice comms with strangers, because that just can get annoying. So it is what it is. For me, it's just a little relaxing thing, to play with Elbrook or just by myself once in a while if I just need a quick fix of something. There is that. So I've thought about making a couple videos for it, once in a while. My channel is filled with variety. I never focus on one game, so don't worry. It's not going to become a COD channel. I don't do things because I want to make a lot of money. It's just I play whatever I enjoy. Like the other day, I played Crisis 2. Crisis 2 is not going to make me any revenue. I mean, it's old at this point, and Crisis 3 is getting ready to come out. And not many people care about that game, so... But I just felt like playing it, and I felt like making a video of it. That's how it works. If I feel like making a Call of Duty video, then I might. It's whatever. World of Tanks, of course. Is something that I always maintain, and that's not going anywhere either. Nothing is, really. DayZ, obviously, I'm taking a break on just because it's gotten a little too frustrating for me, and there's not enough content that you can get out of it. It's an incomplete game, so, that's the way it is. So I would kind of like to hear your feedback in regards to me putting up a little bit of Black Ops 2 footage, because, again, I do like playing hardcore mode, and I don't think a lot of people make hardcore footage. There are some, of course, but I just don't think there's a lot, so I might do once in a while. I'm not good at the game. I'm pretty bad at it, but I think it's fun once in a while. And once in a while, I manage to squeeze out some good kills. So again, but I play them for fun. I'm not here to be a tournament player. I don't do kill montages. I show you what actually happens. My main concern is that the commentary is good. Commentary I'll do over, but footage, if I die, I die, whatever. I'm not ashamed to be, not the best at games, and that's just the way it is. So, let me know about your feedback of that. Again, it's not anything, this wouldn't replace anything. It's just something that might be there once in a while, and it's really easy to get footage for this game. In fact, the theater mode and the Codcaster features that this thing has are phenomenal. I have to really compliment them on that. I guess they've had these for years, but that's so cool. I mean, Battlefield used to have something called Battle Recorder back in the Battlefield 2 days, and that thing was amazing. But this thing is cool because you can fast forward, rewind, go third person, set up cameras, and edit your footage. It even can make a kill montage for you, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I mean, so I might play around with that because it's just, again, those little features really sold me on the title, not necessarily just having the game there. Plus, there's a single player that kind of interests me. I'm not that interested in the zombie mode, I must say. For some reason, the zombie mode seems lame. But I only played it once, but it just seemed really I wasn't interested in it. I don't know. I'll probably skip that unless they come out with some better maps or something. It just seemed weak for some reason. It didn't look as good. I don't know why, but it just seemed like it looked different compared to the single player and the normal multiplayer. But we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I think that's enough Call of Duty talk. I just kind of wanted to get that explanation out there because, you know, most of you don't expect this game from my channel, but that's that. Moving right along, yes, World of Tanks is still one of my favorite games. I will not stop playing it anytime soon. There just has been a little drop in footage in general just because of, you know, everything going on. So it's nothing big. I'm not dropping it or anything. You know, so everybody who's been wondering, where's more World of Tanks? What's going on? Are you stopping playing it? No, I'm not. Relax, calm down, chill. It's not a, you know, a one-game channel. It's just I like to change things up a bit. That's why I had some Crisis 2. As far as more Crisis 2, I don't know. I mean, I might do some more with that. It was just kind of like a one-time thing there, but I might do some more footage. Some people seem to enjoy it. It's a fun game, but again, it's like a beautiful Call of Duty, but even more sci-fi. The one thing that kind of annoys me about it is that the whole stealthing. I just don't like stealthing in shooters, even though we all have the ability to do it. It's just kind of, I don't know. Whatever. It's not that bad. It's not horrible. That's not the thing that got to me most. It's still a lot of fun, so I might, you know, do some footage of that here and there. We'll see what happens. Trying to think. Obviously, the whole War Z debacle going on. Yeah, guys, you've asked, you know, if I was going to play that, and I'm not. I think it's a terrible game. I don't like it. I did one video for it. I've never been killed by a zombie in that game. I've always been killed by players. And it's just, the community is terrible. There's a lot of just, you know, I would say maybe hacking going on and stuff like that. The developers are terrible people. They're not professional. They cuss and swear on their forums and in their news posts, and they call their customers really horrible names, and they don't know how to run a gaming company. And, you know, it's people like that that don't deserve to be devs. They don't. And a lot of you might like the game, so that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. If you enjoy it, good for you. I don't. A lot of other people don't. And I'm accusing the developers of lying. The game did not take over 2 years to develop. It's something that was developed in a couple of months. They've ported over half of their assets from War Inc., which was another terrible free-to-play shooter. And it's just a crying shame that they're allowed to get away with this. And you guys have to remember, some of you seem to be very impressionable. They're just developers. They're not gods. They're nobody special. They're people that took the time to maybe get educated and learn a trade and learn how to make video games and models and skins and sounds and whatever and program. But that's it. That doesn't make them gods. It doesn't mean that everything they say is, you know, 100%. It really doesn't. They're just humans. They breathe the same air that we do. And I've said that time and time again. So just because they say, oh, this is this for this reason and we did this, you know, oh yeah, we spent 2 years on this, and then people actually believe it. Sorry, but wrong. I mean, I know developers, guys, and you know, in chats with them, it's clear to see that, yeah, there's nothing here that's been created within 2 years. I mean, this is all brought over stuff that's just been rushed in. It was a money grab. They saw the success of DayZ, and they said, let's jump on this and make some quick money. That's all it was. If you're enjoying it, then good for you. You obviously have a lot more patience and lower standards than I do, but that's just the way it is. And I will not be playing it. It's been dropped off of Steam. If you bought it on Steam and you want a refund, they are allowing you to get one. And I guess Steam wants to work with the developers of War Z to perhaps fix some of those issues. But yeah, this does not make them look good. When your game is pulled from an online store, yeah, there's a problem. So yeah, that's that. I Really don't want to have anything to do with them again. Like I said, I've had email communication with some of those devs, and they never hold up to their promises. They fail to communicate, and it's just a bad situation. I've never seen such an unprofessional developer in all my years of gaming. I mean, it makes everybody else look 100 times better, and it's just a sad situation because nobody deserves this, man. There's some people out there that spend their hard-earned money. They can't always afford to buy new video games, and you know, to put down cash on these things and just to have to deal with lies, no. I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to accept any of the excuses. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. The great Obi-Wan Kenobi said it best, but that's that. As far as DayZ, I'm still hoping that the standalone version of that is good. I really want it to be. You really can't fault the mod. It is a mod. It was free. It's, you know, a work in progress, but I hope the standalone game does what it's supposed to do. I wish Rocket Hall and his team the best, as I always have, because, you know, from the time that I spoke to him, he's a really nice guy. He just has some really out there dreams and goals for the game, and you know, can't fault him for being different, but we'll see how that goes. So I'll keep my eye on that. I do like this, you know, the survival horror idea with the zombies and post-apocalyptic situations, but nobody has really nailed it on the head perfectly yet, and I think it's going to be years before it's perfected. So we'll see what happens. There's a couple of other games out there. And that's that. But another thing I wanted to talk about, a little bit about Airsoft. Obviously, a lot of subscribers probably showed up to my channel because of Airsoft, or have stuck around because of it, or you know, came to expect that from my channel. I just don't always have the time to get out to a field. I think the closest one is about 40 minutes, 30 plus 40 minutes away from me to get to, and sometimes it's not always easy to get out there and get good footage. A lot of times you'll show up and there just won't be that many people, or there won't be any cool looking gear or guns on the field all the time that really make Airsoft videos kind of special. You know, you want to see some really cool tactics going on, and sometimes the games just are lackluster, and it just depends, you know. So you know, my next field, I think, ends up being almost 2 hours away after that. I mean, you know, it's just, some of the fields, the DV8 field, for example, is actually pretty far away from me, and that you know, sometimes it's just hard to get really great footage. It's always me by myself. I only have one camera. It's hard to capture all the action. And it's just become a matter of time, and in certain seasons I just get really burnt out of going out there and doing these things. So it's tough. Ideally, if I could film it and pass it off to an editor that would do that, that'd be awesome, because then I wouldn't have to do everything on my own. And sometimes I don't mind filming. It's just the editing sometimes that can really get tough. I'm not the greatest editor. I can do okay, but you know, it's just a tough thing to do on your own. And my focus has just lately been really on the video game aspect of things, because that's just generally what I'm into right now, and you know, it's easier for me to get that footage. I mean, that's just the truth right now. Hopefully I can get back into you know, some more Airsoft action, because I know you guys love it, but it's just you know, right now it was never anything that was, you know, a guarantee in terms of being you know, on a regular schedule. I liked providing it once a week, but you know, things change. Again, I'm not abandoning it. It's just right now it's kind of in break mode, and we'll see what happens. I'd like to get out there soon, because the weather is pretty good, and it's the best time to be out there, because it can get pretty hot during the summer, and that can be pretty painful. It's not fun at all being out there in that kind of situation. You got to keep really well hydrated. Well, you should be hydrated all the time anyway, even in the winter, especially when you're running around out there. But that is, you know, pretty much what's going on with that. Again, just stay tuned, and I'll of course keep you up to date on what's going on with that. But other than that, you know, just playing around with different games here and there, hawking a little bit. I'll probably have some more footage of that, because it's kind of fun, even though the mechs are kind of weird looking. MechWarrior Online, I'm not sure about yet. It's a title I want to do very well, so we'll see how that improves over the time. Remember, World of Tanks started out with you know, a very limited feature set, and now it's just exploded to what it is today. So yeah, I think MechWarrior Online has that potential as well, as so does Hawken. So you know, to have mech games again on the PC, that's just, I mean, that just needed to happen. I've been waiting years for a mech game, you know, and to have two of them around the same time, that's great. And I think the free-to-play market is perfect for them. PlanetSide 2, just same thing I said before. It's not easy to grab footage for that game because there's a lot of downtime when you go from battle to battle. So let's say you're at one outpost or base, whatever, and then that battle ends. Now it's time to travel. Sometimes you can quick travel to a, you know, a hot zone, but other times you actually just got to get there on a vehicle or something, or transport, and get into it. And, you know, I could edit it and do things in post, but I really don't like doing that. I like doing live commentary. That's my forte, and I think I'm actually pretty decent at talking and playing at the same time, where I feel like a lot of people just can't do that. So I want to try to keep doing it and keep getting better at it. You know, that's the thing with that. That game doesn't necessarily cater to my style of commentary. But, you know, if you guys are okay with the downtime, are okay with the commentary being the focus, you know, not always seeing constant action, then sure, I don't mind doing it. But, you know, if you're looking for the most elite squad-based tactic gameplay, then you're probably not always going to get it. And in that case, I'm not sure that I should make footage for it, because, yeah, that game is best played with an outfit, with a squad. Otherwise, you're going to suffer. And, you know, that's all there is to it. But, so we'll see how that goes. I'll probably make some more footage, but again, just don't expect miracles out of that game, because as great as a game it is, and I'm glad that it exists, it's not the easiest to throw out there. And there's even a lot of other YouTubers out there that don't cover it like they normally do, because it's not easy to always capture that footage. But yeah, that's that. Again, though, I do love the game. I am loving the game. It's a lot of fun, a lot of madness going on lately, so enjoying it very much. I'm glad it exists, definitely. Hopefully Sony maintains it for many years to come. I think that's mostly it. I'm probably missing something. I don't know what. Battlefield 3, I guess, is just still there, here and there. I always come back and forth between Battlefield 3 again. It's a great game. Aftermath is good with friends once in a while. The only thing that I get frustrated with is the constant spawn kills. I guess it's because the Aftermath maps aren't that large, and then when you have 64 players on them, they can get pretty hectic. So, you know, at times there's a little bit of frustration there. You get medic revived and then just instantly killed, and spawning on a squad mate, and then that squad mate's running through tons of heavy fire and you're just dead. It gets frustrating. Snipers everywhere, no limitations to that. So once in a while it just becomes a headache, and you're like, all right, I got to walk away from this, or at least go play Armored Kill and drive around in a tank all day and at least be a little safer. At least you can't get sniped as easily. I do like to focus on vehicles in games, because most people don't. And I did one game of Armored Kill where I was in the vehicle the most of the time, and some people commented that they wanted to see me in and out of the vehicle. But I mean, that's my point, is like, I have tons of videos of me outside of vehicles, but how many do I have inside, you know, other than playing World of Tanks, which is vehicle only? It's not often that you get, you know, commentary in the tank all the time. So I thought that would be unique, and you know, I think that I would like to continue to do that, because it's just different and interesting, right? I mean, you know, sometimes you can get some interesting kills out of it. So I'll probably keep doing that. But yeah, I think that's it. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of the Strafing Run, and I will definitely see you on the next one.